if suppose you are executing one application, then you can just trace which event is fired or triggered against that application. So any doubt for yesterday? So today what we will be looking into is we will be going more deep into this events, and we will be triggering one workflow based on this events. Also we will try to learn more about check function module as well as start condition. Then we will be seeing this custom events of the BOR and the delegation part. So let's start with this events. First I will show you. First I will trace on. In SWELS we trace on the event. So whenever any application is executed, then the event associated with that application gets triggered. It can be of the BOR or it can be associated with an ABAP class. Just give me a second. First we will trace on. You can see it is already on, so we don't need to again on the trace. But let me tell you, in production system we don't trace on this particular event because many events are fired in one day, and like if we trace on this event trace, then what will happen, number of entries will be created and will ultimately be stored in the table. So unnecessary, if we don't want, then we should trace off the events. Now here first we have just seen it. Now we'll go to VS02. We will change any document. The event associated with this VA02 is changed and the business object is BUS2032. So we will look that, and then what we will be doing, we will be capturing that event to start the workflow. So here in SWEL, here you can see the items just in the last line. One changed event is fired, and here the date is 2/11 and this 2/34. So you can see here no receiver is found. Why? Because the linkage between the workflow and the event is deactivated. So it means no workflow exists to receive this particular event. So what we will be doing, we will be creating one workflow and we will be capturing this particular event, this BUS2032 and this changed event to start that particular workflow. So suppose there is a requirement that whenever sales order is changed, you need to subject that particular sales order through approval process, then you will have to associate the one workflow with this particular event. So what we will be doing, we will be moving on to SWDD. We will be creating one workflow. Go to create button. Now, first you save it before defining any event. Now after saving, just click on this hat button. You can see here just beside activate and test button there exists one hat button. Click on that. Just remember that hat button. Many times we forget how to create the events. Just remember that hat button. Go to start event tab. Now here we are going to define our events. So how we are going to do that? First, let us see each column, what it says. I will come later to this ABC. First I am coming to this category. We have two options in this category. First one is BO and the second one is class. So just select the BO. This BO means business object and CL means ABAP class. Since the object type associated with this sales order is business object, that is BUS 2032, therefore we will be selecting in category tab BO. Now in object type you need to provide the name of the business object, and then in event just press F4. So what will happen once you press F4, all the events associated with this particular business object will get displayed. You need to only select among those. Just select this changed because I'm going to trigger one workflow whenever one sales order is changed. Just you can see that one line item is being created. Press enter. Now coming to this ABC. What is this ABC? A means activate, B means binding, C means check condition or the start condition. So in A, we need to activate the linkage. Just double click on that. It will turn into green and it will ask for one customizing request, not the workbench. This is the customizing request. Remember this. If you have different boxes, different clients in the company like 220, 230, 240, and in 220 all the customizing is done, then if you want to activate the linkage, you will have to go to that 220 client and then you will have to activate it and save it in customizing request and then transport the same. Save it in customizing request and then click on enter. Once you click on enter, the button which was gray will turn into the green. Also remember one thing, as a support point of view, this activation of the linkage always get deactivated once you make the transport. Means many times it happens. So what you have to ensure is that first you will have to transport the workflow which will be stored in the workbench request, and then you will have to transport the customizing request. If you transport first the customizing request and then the workflow, that is workbench request, then it won't work. The linkage won't get activated. So you will again have to capture it in the transport in dev system and then you will have to transport it to other system. So make ensure that whenever you make one transport request, transport proposal, then you just write the sequence that first you need to transport this workflow and then the customizing request. So now this activation is done. Again, in the B you can see it is binding. So what you will be doing in binding is whatever sales or whatever event parameters are present with this particular changed event or the event object or event key, you can do the respective binding. This binding is between the event container and the workflow container. So once you click on this, let me show you. In the left hand side we are having event container, and in the right hand side we are having workflow container. So in left hand side, whatever you are seeing, it is the default elements which are present in the event container, and in the right side these are the default container elements of the workflow. Now what we will be doing, we will be creating one workflow container element called BUS2032, and we will be capturing that particular object of the event in the workflow. So let me create one. In the object type, just select business object type and just write this BUS2032. You are creating a object reference to the business object, that is BUS2032. So in workflow container you can see here one element with reference to this business object is created. Now what we will be doing, once we click on this binding, I will be doing the binding. You can see here by default this creator binding is done to the workflow initiator. Now what I want is, in this event object I want to be linked up or bind up with this business object. So both are of the same type. Why? Because this business object I have given here in this particular line item as BUS2032. So the business object will, this event object will contain the reference to the business object, that is BUS2032. Once I will execute, I will show you why this binding needed and why, what happens and what data you will get here. Just for timing, you just see the binding, what I did it here, and then I will show you why we have done this. Now the binding is done. Now save it, go back and activate it. Once you come back, you can see here one event just icon has got created, which has got branching to this particular workflow, and it means that whenever one event is fired, which event, this BUS2032 with this changed event is fired, then this workflow is going to capture that particular event and will start the workflow. So as I told you, there are two methods to start the workflow. First, I told you that you can start the workflow through standard FM, that is start workflow, or you can start the workflow through events. So these are the two ways through which you can start the workflow. So here suppose I create one user decision step. Save it. Now activate it. Now I will show what will happen. First, let me go to the sales order and let me again make some changes. So the changes was made. Now going to the trace, just click refresh. Now here you can see, first when I executed that particular transaction, that is VU02, then no receiver type was existing. Now you can see in the line item, just last line item, that is last to the first, here BUS2032 then changed, then one workflow has captured this particular event because we have made the linkage between this event and the workflow, and you can see the workflow number, it is 900322. Let us see what was the workflow number which we have built. It is 900322. So it's the same workflow number which we have built. So this particular workflow has actually captured that particular event and started the workflow. Now how we can come to know that it has started the workflow? You can see here in handler action, this button has turned into green. So this means that this particular workflow has been started successfully. Now definitely I would have received one work item saying standard event which I have created in user decision step. First let me show you in that business workplace, then I will go to workflow log and I will show you everything in the container element. SBWP. So once you go through this workflow tab, you can see one line item is lying in the inbox saying standard event. So you can ensure that that workflow was started successfully. Now going to the log. Just double click on this dialog step. Go to the log button. Click on that. Then go to this table button. I hope you have got familiar with this workflow log and how to execute it, because 90% job of the workflow administrator is to debug the workflow through this log. Only through this log, this SWIA transaction. Go to Control P. Now from here you can see that workflow has got started, and let us show you the container element, because as you would have remembered that I have created one container element called BUS2032 in the workflow. So why I have created it, and once I have done that binding, what happened? So what happened is, once I did the binding, I have changed the document number 6127. So that event object was having the number as 6127 and the business object type was BUS2032. So all the details relevant to that 6127 sales order number will get populated in this business object. Since this business object has number of attributes, methods, tables, so you can see here all the data associated with this particular sales order is present. So I hope you would have remembered yesterday I was discussing about why we should use this event and why not that start workflow function module. If you use that start workflow function module, then you will have to pass all the data, or you won't get all the data of that particular sales order. But if you start the workflow through event, you can see that you are getting all the data in the workflow itself. You don't have to hit the backend and get the data of that particular sales order. If you need it in the workflow, then only I'm saying that. But there can be requirement where you need the details of the particular sales order. So if you are triggering that particular workflow through event, then all the data which it is associated with that particular sales document number are present here through this business object. So this is why we use this particular event and not the start workflow. So here you can see all the data are present, and in sales document you can see 6127 is this is a key element which is present in this business object. Let me show you the business object first. I hope I have one more session. Okay, now here going to that particular business object. Now let me show you the key fields. You can see here it's sales document number. So in that particular workflow log also, in that business object, you can see this is a key element. Now we have some of the attributes. So here in this particular business object, you can see number of attributes are present. In methods, number of methods are present, and in events, number of events are present. Let me show you the events. So these are the events. So this is how you can trigger the workflow through the event. Any doubt till this? How to trigger the workflow through events, the binding part and the activation part. Good, you have actually understood, I hope. So now here in this particular workflow, what I'm going to do is I will capture that particular sales document number. Like suppose here I am just giving dynamic value so that I can know which particular sales document number is being triggered, because always you need the unique key, because number of title can be present, but through this unique key only you can determine which sales order needs the approval. So in parameter, what I'm going to select is this particular sales document. So what will happen once this particular workflow capture that event, then the sales document number, the sales document parameter will contain the value of that sales document number, and then that particular value will get displayed in this title. Activate it. I'm just making the changes so that it will trigger the workflow. Now going to the directly I will go to the business workplace. You can see I have got this dynamic value because I have made the changes in the document number 6127. So this is how you can actually tag that particular any of the parameter of the business object in this workflow. So I just shown you how you can use that parameter values in the workflow, because you are having all the data in your workflow through this business object, so you can use it in anywhere. So any doubt till this? Now next I will move to show you the linkage and everything, then check function module, then start condition. Okay, so now as I have shown you in this event trace, this business object and this changed event and this particular workflow which has actually captured this event. Now when you double click on it, just double click on it. Now first let me give you the whole idea present over here. The instance ID, the event instance ID, don't get confused with that workflow work item ID. This is the event instance ID. This is not the work item ID. This is the instance ID. We don't use this instance ID, just I'm telling you it has one unique instance ID. And you can see here in object type we are having this business object name, and in object key we are having this the sales document number, and in the event we are having this changed event. Now coming to SWE2. Let me tell you more about this SWE2, because this is most important regarding the events. What happened, suppose whatever linkage we did in this workflow and the event, whenever we just double click on that particular activate button, then what happens, that gray button turns into green and it gets captured in the customizing transport. So whenever you do that, one line item or one entry gets created in this particular transaction. So you have seen that I have created one workflow, number was 903323, something like that. Okay, let me copy that number. Just copy this number and keep in notepad. Now go to the transaction SWE2. Now what will happen whenever you click on that activate linkage, when entry gets created, we don't create it manually, it's get created automatically. So you don't have to create the entry over here. So just search that particular workflow number or the business object. It is in a sorted order, so go to that BUS. Now here you can see this line item. BUS2032, this changed event, and this is the workflow number which we have created. You can see I haven't created the entry over here. It was created automatically. So since I did the linkage, then automatically one entry gets created in this particular transaction. So let me double click on it. Now coming to this, here you can see object category, object type, event, receiver type, and now this linkage activated. What you can see here is it is in check. So it means that you have activated the linkage. So what happens when you transport the particular that customizing request into different system, this linkage gets deactivated. So what you will have to do is you have to just check this and you have to capture it in customizing transport, and then you will have to make it the transport to other system. So this you have to need to check whether it is checked or not. This is the linkage activation. Now coming to this function module. So this receiver function module is the standard function module which is responsible to search for the workflow, which this actually gives the like it acts as a one. Whenever one event is fired, there is one handler, so it just pass that event to this workflow so that it can handle that particular event. So we don't change it. Now coming to this check function module, this check function module is defined to filter out the criterias. Suppose I need that whenever the sales order is 6127, then only this particular workflow should get triggered, else it should not. So any of the criteria based on the parameters present in the work in that business object or the app class. So you should have that data. Even if you are not having the data, or you are having only the object key, then suppose you are having the object key as 6127, then and you don't have the data. So what you can do is you can just hit the database in that particular function module and can get that data and can see whether that data meets your requirement or not. So if it meets your requirement, then you can just trigger the workflow, or you can raise the exception so that that workflow won't get triggered. So this check function module is used in a very important manner. We use it, and suppose there is one event and multiple workflows, so and all workflows are triggered based on some different criteria. So what happened if you don't provide this check function module, and whenever that event is triggered, all the workflows will get triggered. So this will definitely will create a negative impact on the requirement. So what you have to do is you will have to create one check function module and will have to associate that particular check function module with all the workflows based on that some logic which you have written, so that whenever any event is triggered, only that corresponding workflow which meets the requirement gets triggered. I will show you how you can do this. Let me create one function module first. Now this check function module has some predefined importing and exporting parameter. As I told you about this rule also, that for rule also we have predefined exporting and importing parameter. So let us see first the template which is provided by SAP, which shows us which importing and exporting parameter we need to provide in that check function module. So going to this SCAT and going to this function group, you can see here one function group is present called SWE underscore template. So in this particular function group, you can see number of function modules are present, and just select this SWE template check underscore FB. Now this particular function module has some importing and exporting parameters, so it has just provided us the template which we need to provide in our function module. So you can see we have this object type, object key, event, and this rect type. So this object type is actually the name of the business object, that is BUS2032, or you can have this class name also, the name of the class and the name of the business object. In this object key, we are having the sales document number, suppose, or purchase order number, or material number, the unique key. And in this event, we are having the name of the event, suppose changed, created. And in rec type, it is referring to the receiver type. It actually refers to the workflow number. So these are the 4 importing parameters which are present in this check function module. Now coming to the exporting parameter, we don't have anything. In tables, we are having event container. So what is this event container? Suppose with one event, one event parameter is associated with. So what we will be doing, we will be passing that event parameter in this event container, and then that through that event container you can just filter out the things based on your requirement. Now coming to the exception, this is any exception which is raised. Suppose you don't want that this workflow should get triggered when that means if you want that if object key is not equal to 6127, then raise the exception. So what will happen? For if the sales order document number comes out to be 6128, then it will raise the exception and the workflow won't get triggered. I will show you everything in detail. Just try to understand whatever I'm saying. Once I do it practically, you will be able to get a clear picture. So now what I will do is just click Control Y and copy this. Now go to SE37 again. Now here create one function module. Suppose FM check. Click on create. Provide the function group. Now here check FM, save it. You can give any name to the function module, but the thing is the importing parameter should be same. So I've just pasted that whatever I have copied from that template. Now again go to the template and go to the table section. Now press Ctrl Y, just copy this, and here go to the tables. Just press enter because like is obsolete. So if you press enter, this is the warning message which is shown, but you will have to give like because this is a SAP provided template, so it should be in like only. Now Control Y, Control C, sorry, yeah, you have to copy it. Now in exception, just paste it. So and now save it. So I'm ready with the template. Now what I have to do is we have to write the source code. So here, suppose if size sub rc is equal to 0. First I will show you what we will be getting here in object type, object key, event, putting the debugger. Then I will show you how to write the code. Now save it and activate. Now put the debugger. Now go to the transaction SWUE. I hope you are able to see the transaction. Let me open that. SWUE. Now here, this particular transaction is responsible to create the event manually. Like what we do in workflow, we trigger the workflow manually. So what here I can do is I can trigger the event manually. So here just provide the business object category. Like object category can be either business object or the ABAP class. Always this is the only two things which we can have. Now object type can be the business object. Now coming to the event, suppose it is changed, and in object key, suppose 6127, the sales order number. Now click on enter and just check this debugging. Now create event. Just select the create event. Okay, the debugger. Okay, since I haven't associated this function module with that particular event, therefore this debugger was not stopped. So what you will have to do is just copy the function module name and go to that linkage, and now just paste it here in this check function module. Now save it, capture in the transport. Now go back. Now again try to create that particular event. Now click on create event. Now you can see the debugger has stopped. Now let us see what all variables are present and what are the values. You can see here I am having an object type US2032, in object key 6127, in event change, and in receiver type the name of the workflow. So this is what I was saying you, that which the parameters, which will be the values which will be contained in the corresponding parameters. So these are the things now we will be writing based on these values. Now press F8. Now go to that particular function module. Just remove the debugger again. Now we will be writing the code. I want that if object key is not equal to, suppose LC sales, then raise any exception. This any exception was defined in the exception tab, and if now declare this LC sales. I have written the code here is, if this object key is not equal to 6127, then raise the exception. It means that if the sales order number is 6128, then the workflow won't get triggered, and if it's 6127, then only the workflow will get triggered. Try to understand the logic. This is just simple logic which I have written. If you want to write some different logic, suppose based on this object key, you will hit the database and you will get, suppose, payment terms. This is what assignment I am going to give you. You will hit the database and you will just fetch the payment terms, and if the payment terms doesn't comes out to be the value, you can take anything, like we are having number of payment terms. If that payment term suppose comes out, that payment term you can get from VBKD table, so you can just check that, and we will have number of payment terms. Just you can define the logic that if it is suppose 001 or 002, then the workflow shouldn't get triggered, else it should get triggered. So this is the simple logic. And in function, this check function model, we don't write large number of codes, huge number of codes. Rather we try to make it more simpler, because many times if it gets complex, then it becomes very difficult to arrange the things so that the particular respective workflow will get triggered. So just make it as simple as possible. So I'm just showing you how it works. Suppose this object key is not equal to LC sales, then the exception will be raised and the workflow won't get triggered. Now activate this. Now I'm done with the check function module. Now what will happen is, now I will create the event. You can see here the object key is 6127. So you can, I'm just triggering it through manually. I can do it through that VA02 as well. So if whatever I do with VA02, it's same. That is the application which I'm running, and this is the for testing, like what we do in for manual workflow. So now create this event. You can see here in message it is showing at least one receiver found. Now go to the workflow log. No, first I will show you the trace. Go to the trace. Just scroll down. Now here you can see one line item BUS2032 changed, and this particular workflow has captured the event. Now it means that I would have received one work item. Now I just want to show that if you create this event with different object key, suppose 6128, then what will happen? Now create the event. Let me check this. I'm confused with the timing. Just let me again. I will first put the debugger so that I can come to know. Now create the event. Give the key as 6128, and now okay, it hasn't reflected the code, so that's the reason. It's that event was triggered and the workflow was triggered. So let me again check that particular binding which I did in SWE2. Now again go to the binding part. Just remember how we debug it, because we cannot debug the function module, this particular function module, if you go through the standard application. Only through this create event you can debug it. Click F4 again, write Z star FM star, select that particular function module, save it. The code was not reflected actually. Now again I will create. Okay, again still it's not reflected. Okay, I have to refresh this particular transaction to get the reflected code. Now go to the sales document number, give 6128. Now create the event. Now it has got reflected. So now what will happen? Can anybody tell me? Because I have already told you 5 times what will happen. The key was 6128. So whether the workflow will trigger or not, just yes or no. This is a simple logic which I have written in this check function module. Whether the workflow will trigger or not. Great. So the workflow won't get triggered. Yes, Hitesh?
Yeah, workflow won't trigger. It will raise.
Why it won't get triggered? Yeah, correct. Absolutely correct. Because the exception will be raised. Right? So here just press F8. So that now, okay, let me again check. What was the object key? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what was LC sales? If it is not equal to this, then F5, raise any exception, then F8. Now I will show you the event trace. Where is that trace? You can see here the receiver was found, but the check function module has stopped that particular workflow from getting triggered. You can see here it is in red button. So as I told you, if it is in green, then you can ensure that the workflow has been triggered successfully, and if it is in red, then it means this check function module has stopped this workflow from getting triggered. So this is how you can take the help of check function module. This is the one way. Now I will come to the another way through which you can filter the criterias. Now go to this particular hat button, go to that start event again. Now come to this condition. As I was discussing about ABC, the A was activation, B was binding, and now I will discuss about C. What is this C? Just click on that C. This C actually gives you the start condition to be defined. So suppose I am just selecting the sales order number. Whatever I did in this check function module, we use this start condition just for this small logic, like okay, this value is if equal to this, then you can just use start condition. But if you want to write big logic hitting the database and all that, then you can use that check function module. The functionality is same. They are going to stop this particular workflow, but you can use it in other way. Like if you want to write only equal to or something like that, then take the help of this start condition. If you want to write big logic, then you take the help of check function module. Now suppose I want that if sales document number is only equal to 6127, then this particular workflow should get triggered. Same logic I'm taking so that you can understand it. I have defined the start condition. You can see one icon has got appeared here with blue button. So it actually says you that the start condition is being defined. Now save it, go back, now activate it. And I will be removing that check function module which I have defined in that particular linkage. So that I can show you how the start condition, you don't have to use both. You can use any one of it. So now the data was saved. Now I will trigger the event. The criteria which I have tagged there is, if the sales document number is 6127, then only that particular workflow should get triggered, else it should not. So first I will give this object key as 6127, and then I will trigger the workflow. So one receiver has been found. So now let us see in event trace. Click refresh. Now you can see here, just go down, and now you can see there one line item has got created and with this green button, because the value was 6127, therefore the workflow got triggered. Now I will trigger it with 6128. Create event. Now go to the trace. Scroll down. Let us see what is the object key present over here. Okay, fine. Why it has got triggered is because the object key is different, because it is appended with I think 6 zeros, and there I have written only 6127. Let me see. Go to the start condition again. Go to this condition. Click this. Append with 6 zeros. 6, 7, 8. Now it's okay. Again check it. If this is equal to 6127, then only should get triggered. Okay. Activate it. You will have to refresh everything because sometimes it doesn't go through this activated version. Now give this object key. Now go to trace. Fine. Now you can see here one check FM. This particular has actually stopped the particular workflow to get triggered. So this is how it behaves. You can use either check FM or you can use the start condition. So this is the two ways through which you can stop the workflow or you can filter the workflow, because for one event you can have multiple workflow, and through this only you can filter out the workflow and based on the requirement. So any doubt till this, the start condition and check FM? Yes, Ramana?
Actually, I missed out the starting part of events because of my
Okay.
system problem and all yesterday. And to the first thing
So
also,
from
first 5 minutes.
where you have started, like
Yesterday, it just started my events, then my system got
no, I'm
open
just
up
asking
problem.
you from where you have saw that the class, from where you have captured that class, catch the class, what I was discussing at that moment.
Yeah, when that event, you're assigning in start event button, tap, you're assigning this event, and you're activating this.
So
activating
what
and
you have
binding.
not understood, just tell me, I will explain it again.
No, I understood, okay, but how you created this event, like in workflow builder,
Okay.
how that event,
Okay. Means how that event was actually binded with this workflow. Do you want to
no,
know that?
before decision step, there is one more step, right? Before decision step, there is one more step. Start event, something is there.
No, I just did it. Let me tell you. Go to this hat button, go to this start event, and just select this line item, like this or category can be BU or class, since I am associating this changed event of this particular business object. So therefore I have selected BO and I have given business object type, the name of the business object and the event name. So once you press F4, the number of events will be there. You can select any one of those. And then this A means, right, tell me.
I'm asking about the step. I'm asking, go back, please.
Okay.
Go back, please. See, before decision step, there is one more step to trigger the event, right?
This particular step, this three brackets.
Yeah.
If you define that event, this bracket will come automatically. Okay. But if you define one,
this is a step or
no, this if you define one event, suppose if I define one more event here, suppose I define one more event, then that one more that bracket will come. Okay.
Okay.
Just check that. You can see one more, this particular step will get created.
Anyway, I think recording will be available, right?
Right, it will be available, definitely.
Recording.
It will be. You can go through that.
Okay, no issue.
Any other things? Once you work on it, once you get the requirements, you can definitely can create the workflow and can work with this check function module. If you have a BAP knowledge as well, then it will be very good to develop this logic part. Yes, Ramana?
Yeah, I mean, can we do with class also, right?
Yeah, definitely. I will be showing with class as well in the next further classes. This custom event also I will be showing you. First, let me complete with this BOR, then I will start the class. Okay?
Okay, nice.
Yes, Praveen?
Yeah, even in the change event, in the mail, we want the information what data is changed. And in the data also, they want to trigger mail only if there is quantity change or value change like that.